Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Katie and welcome to another bookish adventure. So today we're going to be talking about my May wrap up and my June TBR. Wonderstruck by Brian Selznick. This book has been on my TBR forever. It is ridiculous, along with the invention of Hugo Cabaret, but I'm so glad I finally got to it because this book was amazing. I gave it 5 stars and I think this is my first 5-star read since Kingdom of Ash. So this book is told in 2 halves by Ben and Rose, and Ben's story is in words and Sophie's? Why have I got Sophie in my head? Rose's is told in illustrations, and the illustrations were amazing. So although these take place in 2 different decades, the stories happen at the exact same time. So after an accident, Ben decides that it is time to go and find his father and travels to New York on his own. Rose is a young deaf girl who is basically kept inside by her family, and her only visitor is her tutor basically, and she sneaks out to travel to New York to go and find this actress who she's like in love with. You know, she's watched her in silent movies and she's currently on stage doing a play in New York, and she goes to find her. So both these stories take place at the same time, which I think really helps because with the illustrations you can't tell such a vast story so quickly. So Rose's definitely seems shorter in comparisons to Ben, but it was so beautiful. I can't even. Stories were clearly linked and it was like figuring out the link, but I didn't think this book would get me, and it really did. The illustrations were just amazing, and I don't know how, god damn it, but they just got me so good. I cannot even. I'm now really excited to go forward and to read his other works because it's just beautiful. When she's like in a crowd, there's kind of like this halo of like light around her, so you can just like pick her out. It's just, the level is just like stunning. I cannot even. But yeah, this was absolutely worth the 5 stars. It was just beautiful. You'll sense a theme here with children's literature. Next up was The Grimm Legacy by Polly Shulmans. I gave this book 3 stars. I had 0 expectations of this. This has been on my reading list for a very long time now, probably 10+ years, and honestly I just wanted an easy read in between my other 2 reads. I just wanted something that was like easy and simple. So this is about a young girl who works in a repository, which is basically like a library for objects, and you can check out objects. So say you were putting on a production which was like Shakespeare, and you can take out costumes so you can examine them, so you can study them, so you can make your own designs. And there are people who like go into the repository and they like play chess with like fancy chessboards. But also within this repository you also have sections, like the Grimm section, which are items that are collected by the brothers Grimm. They were items that inspired the stories, and they are also magical items. So in this story, items are going missing from the Grimm collection. There has also been a missing worker from the repository as well, and there is this weird mysterious bird that is chasing them. So it is basically them trying to find out who possibly within the library repository is doing it, what this big bird is, and why the items are being stolen. I will read the second one because it is just a nice and simple easy read. I didn't have a lot of expectations for it. I just wanted something simple. The Northern Lights by Philip Pullman. So it has been on my TBR again for a very long time. This is part of my books I should have read as a child series, and yeah, it's been a long time coming. I also listened to this on audiobooks. I listened to it more than I did read it. However, it was amazing because Philip Pullman narrated it and there was a full cast. I would like to, when I go to reread these, actually reread it because I would like to actually read what his style is like, but listening to it was amazing. I definitely did drag it out longer than I needed to. I gave this book 5 stars, probably because of the narration. Like at the end it got really urgent and I was like, oh. It's very hard to explain what this book is about because I don't want to give away spoilers, and also I didn't know what this book was about. I had vague memories from the film of what this book was about and just generally what I thought I knew. However, it went in a completely different direction, which I love. This is about Lyra, who lives at Jordan College, and she gets involved in something that her uncle is involved with. Children are going missing by the gobblers and they don't know why. Lots of rumors are flying around, and there is this mythical magical thing called dust and no one really knows what it is. It is really cool. Again, it didn't go how I thought. I thought that once Lyra went off with the mysterious lady, I thought she then got stuck with her and she realized, oh shit, I made a mistake, like this lady's not good. I thought she ended up being stuck with her, but actually the story just went completely the other way. But it was really enjoyable and I can't wait to keep going with this series. The final book I read this month, Reaper Man by Terry Pratchett. So this is like the 11th book in the Discworld series and the 2nd in the Death collection. So I gave this book 3 stars. I didn't enjoy it as much as more. I just found it harder to get into it. I found it harder to figure out the plot. It was just a bit confusing. However, the end got me. Oh my goodness. So in this book, Death finds out that basically he's being replaced, and that doesn't happen. So instead of just carry on working until his retirement, Death goes, wow, I have time now to do stuff, and he goes off to do stuff. And that kind of surprised me, and I think this is obviously linked from the first book, because in the first book he kind of does that when he takes on more. He goes out and kind of starts living a human life, and that is kind of the repercussions of this. So he goes and lives on a farm. I said this in my weekly reading vlogs, very much like the episode of Family Guy when Death sprains his ankle and no one dies. A wizard called Wendell dies, and he dies. Like Death's not there to take his soul, so he just climbs back into his body, but his body is dead. Like, he doesn't look well. So it's told from a few perspectives. So Death's, but he is in it a bit later. Wendell, you've got the wizards who are trying to get rid of Wendell and sort of figure out what's going on. The wizards don't really make sense, like they're really weird. It's kind of strange, and there are these weird snow globes that are appearing everywhere. It just took a while for me to really figure out what was going. It hasn't put me off the rest of the series, but Reaper Man just didn't quite do it for me the way Mort did. So I did start one other book last month, and that was the Boneless Mercies, and I am so gutted. I got about 100 pages in this and I had to stop. Last week was not my week. It was really bad. From about Sunday, I have just been really ill. I've had really bad chest and shoulder pains, back pain. Like, I can't take a deep breath in without getting a stabbing pain. I've had headaches, I've had trapped nerves. Like, I've just not been great, and I can't sleep very well because of it. So yeah, I just didn't do any reading pretty much last week, and I was gutted because I've been so looking forward to reading this. So this is about mercies, and it is a job that only women do, and they do merciful deaths. So they're not like people for hire. Well, they are in a sense, but they don't do vengeful killings, they do merciful killings. And it's very interesting, the world that is created, because there are different people who do different things. Like, there are people who run around in the forests who protect the forest and make sure that, you know, there aren't like things stealing stuff or monsters doing whatever. And there's just like this whole world they're about to explore, and basically some of them aren't loving the mercy life. And Frey in particular, she dreams of glory, she dreams of like a warrior's life, and she has found a solution which could make them all happy and give them like this one shot to change their life completely. So going forward into June, I will be finishing the Boneless Mercies. I'm feeling a lot better. It's just, yeah, I'm just so disappointed that I couldn't have squeezed in a 5th book, because I so could have done it and I would have been really happy. But my main read for this month, and I'm so excited to do this, Heroes by Stephen Fry. Oh my god, so excited. And I'm so excited because I've also pre-ordered his new book, Troy, and I'm just like, yes! I can't wait. So I will also be listening to this on audiobooks because it is a bit of a beast, and also, who doesn't want to listen to Stephen Fry all the time? So if you haven't guessed, this is about the heroes of his Greek mythology series. I am over the moon about this. So this is going to be heroes that we all know and love. So heroes like Hercules and Jason on the Argo, but it's also got some other heroes that I don't know about, and this is why I'm really excited. You should definitely, if you love Greek mythology, definitely read these. His first book, Mythos, pretty much covers the birth of the gods, where they come from, and just what they got up to, really, and kind of the main ones that we know. It is also like how towns and cities came about, how they were influenced by the gods and stuff like that, whereas this one is focusing on the heroes and obviously the monsters they are going to be fighting. I was hoping that one of his books would be a monster baddie based one, but I am excited for Troy. So I do have a general idea, but just the way Stephen writes and presents this stuff, it just makes it so much more simpler to understand, and that is why I'm so excited to do this. And then the final book that I will be reading, because that is quite a hench one, although I'm going to be listening to it, I do want to read it as well. I'm currently off work, so I don't really know when I'll be going back, so I don't want to be like, yeah, I'm going to pick all these books. So the other book I want to read, want is a term I use loosely in this situation, City of Glass. So this is the 3rd book in the Mortal Instruments, and this is the final book in the first half of the trilogy. I didn't know that you could read the Mortal Instruments as 2 trilogies. I wish I'd known that, because I would have saved myself a lot of pain. So I'm going to read these as 2 trilogies. After I finish this, I'm going to take a break from them, and I'm going to go to the Infernal Devices and then come back, because I have a lot of problems when it comes to this series. So the Mortal Instrument is about a group of shadow hunters, and Clary finds out that her world is not how she knew it to be, and that she's actually part of the shadow hunter world. And you have the downworlders, so like vampires and werewolves and fae and all other manners of creatures. Shadow hunters are dicks because they think they're above everyone, but that's just my opinion. And in this, you also have Valentine, who is basically like the Voldemort of the piece. He is trying to collect the Mortal Instruments. He has his own agenda. He was around before and pretty much caused a war, and it was just not great. crazy. So in the first 2 books, it was pretty much Clary finding out she's part of this world and trying to stop Valentine from resurfacing again, basically. In this third one, if we're going off the premise, it is going to be more of the Shadow Hunters have a choice right now, and it is either fight with the Downworlders or fight against them. And I think this, to me, could be the turning point of where I can maybe get on board with this series. I think because of the attitudes towards Downworlders, I'm just like, I can't be dealing with this, and it very much plays to Valentine's advantage, them being separated like this, whereas them coming together is really quite apt for what's going on in the world right now. Yeah, this is kind of where this one is like coming from, as well as the whole like dramas from the personal side of things. I don't know how soon after the second book this takes place. The second book followed in quite quickly from the first one. I don't think there's gonna be much of a gap, so I don't know how we're gonna go in the way of character progression. This is a little bit bigger than the other 2 books as well, which I didn't actually notice to begin with, so we will see. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not holding out any hope of this. The only hope right now is that this gets to 3 stars, because so far it's like been 2. That was me being all kinds of generous. So that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. It's been my first one in a little while. It feels good to be back. Also, they look ridiculously shiny because it is so ridiculously hot right now. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and as always, comment below what did you read in May and what you're planning to read for June. If you're new, then don't forget to subscribe if you want, and of course ding the bell to never miss a video. I hope you had a great weekend. It is crazy hot right now, so if you are out there, please put some sunscreen, because I've seen a lot of lobsters today. I've been on my walk for today and I've seen a lot of red people. I was out yesterday, I did another 6-mile walk. I remembered to put sunscreen on. I've seen a lot of walking lobsters, so please stay safe out there.